Hey folks, this is Sia Berzai, also known as Black Horse 23, and today we are going to do a quick play of the 0.71 build of Satellite Reign. I'm actually pretty excited to show this to you guys. You'll see the starting shot in a moment, why I'm pretty excited. And I'll say this before we jump in. I've play tested this version 2 to 3 times so far, and I'll definitely say it's the best version so far to build. It's been very incredible to see the Five Lives team add more and more material every round, and this point 0.7 build, I'm on the nightly version, is definitely starting to make a lot of the better aspects of the game show up and starting to look good. Anyway, I'm going to pause the video and jump into the game with my account, and I'm going to actually start with one of the last areas of the districts that have been opened up and made available. But I'm just going to only show a quick part, and then we'll move to. We're going to go to the industrial zone because I really haven't done much videos there. All right, let's go. Alrighty, so as you can see, I have my agents all zoomed all the way in, and you'll see this in a moment because uh, the folks at Five Lives have done me a great honor and have added my user handle, which, in case you're wondering, I started using this while playing Niantic Labs' Ingress, which is another game I'm very obsessed with. And I know the guys at Five Lives did mention that they know of the game. I don't know if they play it, but I've logged in. I think it's been more than 100 hours since I got on the uh, early access, and I've been giving as many tips as I could about this game along the way. Uh, and I will have to say this: it's been uh, very awesome how open the development team has been since they've released their early access, and enough players have started testing around with the game on here on Steam. And while making some notes, I've had a chance to talk to Mike Diskey, Mitch, and the environment artist whose name I can only think of as their handle, which is Wetwired, in terms of some of the bugs and aspects of the game. And I guess as a thank you, they asked if they wanted my name on a building, and I gave them my Black Horse Aggressives title because I'll get into that some more later once we start playing the game in full. But what's so fantastic about Satellite Reign uh, on the design side is the fact that the guys have done a great job of making a pretty convincing sci-fi cyberpunk city with shop names and all these businesses around the world. And as you may or may not know, this game started on Kickstarter, uh, and it is still, as far as I know, a full independent project. And I'm assuming as part of their Kickstarter deals, they had a bunch of people who gave donations where they would have names of the city in and around, or buildings in the city named after them. And that's really cool. I really do think it's one of the cooler things that they've done. I'm going to break the law here very quickly just so I can move on to the next parts of this game. Um, but yeah, even though I bought the early access and did not necessarily contribute to the Kickstarter because it had already finished when I first learned about this game, I I think this game has the highest amount of hours on my Steam account, um, and it has had its ups and downs, and the folks have been awesome and have, I guess they've given as a thank you, they've added in the building. I am very flattered and very thankful, and hope I can add on more. Anyway, so back to the game. I'll say this: it has been extremely impressive, that little bugged civilian notwithstanding, how much the folks at Five Lives have been improving the overall graphics and the camera. Wow, okay, I can see what they've done here, which I'm actually really excited. Um, but they've been improving the overall pathfinding, which this guy's having a tough time with. And just because it's just going to keep distracting me, I'm going to actually highlight one of the features of this game. It's one of my favorite tools, which is the hacker's mind hack tool. And if you've seen the older video, it didn't have that shining light around the civilian once you did that, and they've added that in along with all these other little graphical details. I am running this at the quality of the graphics is at fantastic, but I do have some of the higher ray trace shader options set up for the frame rate. But I will definitely say this: I've experienced this game crash many times since the '05 uh, version or the '04 version, and this last build, it's been great how smooth everything is running overall, where you do get quite a lot of textures, lights, and graphics. Those moving shadows was not included before. Um, I don't know if I have the settings set up where my agent's shadows don't show, or if it's not catching here, because I know for a fact I've seen my agents light up as well. Maybe a setting, but moving around the world has been a lot saner, put it at that, where you might have your agents caught in traffic, like you just saw over here. Um, but when you click and direct your agents to go places, they do seem to have a better idea of where they are going, and that includes other civilians and characters. And if you saw how that camera was zoomed in, I think the guys have done a slight adjustment of the overall view of the camera, where when you zoom in, you get a better understanding of where objects are. Uh, and I am on the nightly build, which is basically every day the folks at Five Lives add updates, change a few things around, whether it's game balancing issues or graphics or sound. And I would personally recommend doing that just because you get to see the game at its best and latest. And if you're into game development as a whole, it's great to see uh, how things change every day before the game is finished. But I will also warn you that because it is a nightly build, you may have one night where the game would have a harder time running, or there may be issues with sound, or some type of a bug or glitch. So do be aware of that. However, I really recommend going with it that way. But since it is now at the 0.7 and you can still experience the play with slower updates, which means that you may not get all the immediate features that are being tested out, uh, you will still have a very stable experience. And this version, uh, I wouldn't say it's still fully ready for a full-time product, but I will definitely say there have been games that have been released throughout history where they're far behind what this game is as a whole. So if you're okay with your gameplay experience be a little rough around the edges and spoil the experience for yourself just a little bit before everything is put together, uh, please give it a try. Um, and I know right now there's a Steam summer sale, and the game is available for $23.99 at Steam. And I know I'm rambling, and there isn't much action going on, so we do need to change that. And since I talked about the Mind Hack and the Industrial District, let's do a quick test of some changes in the game and the stability of the game, actually. Because last few times, if I did a teleport, that sometimes ran the risk of breaking the game. So let's see, we've got the load here, still recording. I'm still here, and we are in the Industrial District. Fantastic. Uh, Gotta say, it's just so awesome. Where about 3 weeks ago, I was starting to wonder if I had to get a new PC to get to experience this game at its fullest, and I'm not experiencing the game at its fullest settings. And just look at this thing. Look at the way this water lens effect is at the corner here. Concentric Corporation. I wonder who those guys are. Okay, so the Industrial District is basically the Forge World section of the city, which still doesn't have a name, and I kind of like the fact that it's nameless. I wonder if they're going to keep it that way, or they'll do something else with it. I'm going to detach that clone over there. And, okay, so one of my, as I mentioned, favorite pieces of this game is the hacker's mind hack ability. And what's cool is they've added the gameplay balance where if you do a mind hack and there's another soldier around, there's a little bit of resistance now, and your mind hacker just can't go and do the mind hacking all willy-nilly. So we'll leave it at that, but since we are trying to do some chaos, we'll do this. I'll show you another awesome ability of mine that I like, which is the support agent's ability to slow down time. Now, some people in the forums have mentioned if the game has a turn-based element or if it's more real-time strategy or if it's only real-time. And what I gotta say is, with this agent's ability to slow down time, you do pretty much get what you need out of the ability to. Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. To play the game in a turn-based fashion. So it looks like what's happening with the game right now is you can bribe these guards in order to gain access. So I don't know if these guards are now fully friendly, but I think they'll be letting us walk into the facility without any issues, or very least through the front gate. We have the alarm set up, and as I said, we're looking for a little bit of chaos here, and still comparatively, there isn't not nearly as much chaos as we can cause. And as you can see, the agents are starting to attack soldiers by themselves, which is good, because sometimes that ends up not happening. Again, I'm going to slow down time. So the guys who made this game, they're the team behind the original Syndicate, or more Syndicate Wars. I know Mike Diskey had a more senior role at that game, but it is very much in that spirit. One thing that is different about this game over Syndicate is your agents come with a predetermined skill set, or at least a little bit. Alright folks, I'm going to see if I can lower the game volume, because I know people have mentioned that when actions get too intense, they can't hear me. So I'm hoping the sound is not getting too washed out now. So anyway, I'm going to slow down time, and what's really great is there's still plenty you can add or choose between your agents, even though they're all specialized. One thing that I've added to all of my agents, and this is from an older build, I don't know if you can still do this once the game fully launches. However, I've given all of my agents invisibility, which is only available to the infiltrator, number 4 over there, or assassin agent, as an unlockable skill at first. This one is still definitely the infiltrator, and we haven't seen it anywhere else, but the ability to basically do that quick kill Actually, another thing that you can do, which I don't know if I can pull it off right now that my guys are a little bit out of juice. Let's shoot that out. Okay, so we have that guy who's stuck, and we have this guy who's here. So let's go back to our hacker again, and go ahead and try to hack that one guy, or since it looks like things are pretty messy, we'll show another feature that I love of this hacker, which is Scramble. And Scramble basically drives your target enemy terminally insane, because I haven't seen anyone really return back from sanity after you do the scramble. That doesn't mean that they don't always attack you, but that's what they do. And that guy's having basically turning on his enemies, and you can't control them when you mind hack, but it basically acts as a great diversion for you to do what I just did over there. Let's slow down time again, just so I can talk and plan. Your support agent has this ability to mark a target, which it makes your agents deal much more damage to him without it. And I normally love doing that along with the Soldier's Rage option, because he basically turns into a hyper-roided out dude and deals damage across the board. And if you have your agents near him, as you can see, he can give that rage ability transfer through to them. It explains it in the augmentation. Oh, this poor guy's still stuck there. Okay, let's actually see if our hacker works this time. Now, the older videos that I had relied very much on stealth. Then, as you can see this time around, and that really does have to do with the fact that I've souped up my characters at a considerable degree, where they can take a lot of punishment before they succumb to temporary death. Which means that I can have a lot more fun with the chaos. But what's really great about this game is the fact that you can use stealth or full brute force at your discretion for the most part, especially as you advance through the world. And with the balancing the way it's moving along right now, it's still you still need to be creative, so it doesn't just become a routine action of just go and kill, or stealth. There's still missions where you will have to have a nice variety of weapons and gear, and ability in the form of augmentations to have an edge in the field, so to speak. So this one, I still can't figure out if it is exactly a bug or a design choice, but even though if you have people under mind control, especially bad guys, they tend to still shoot at you if they're not moving. And the tab key basically stops your agents from firing, stops everyone from firing, and that normally, I guess it doesn't always make that not happen. But again, I'm not sure if that is by choice or if it's something that is still not worked out in the AI. However, at the moment, my mind-controlled soldier is detected by other soldiers as somebody who's not really right or out of the station. If you haven't caused a lot of violence, you can actually get away with that quite a bit. And in this case, it looks like the amount of noise we've caused, they have the people in this station, which I believe is the CSA station, have an idea what's going on, so they're going to attack anyway. And as you can see, I'm shooting out the cameras because they set off alarms. However, as you can see in the older videos as well, you can just turn off the cameras, or here, I'll show you another cool ability while I do my ninja kill over here. Or not. We still have one lingering. See if this will take care of them. Oh, no, they sent a whole squad. Okay, so here's one thing that's really cool. If you hit the Y button for your support agent, another thing your agent, he or she, can do is it opens up this underground view or grid view or matrix view. It has a few names, but that's what you can do, and it helps you spot enemies faster if you're in the middle of chaos. But if you see those lines, it shows where power grids are, where you can shut off the power to a whole facility, and basically all the gates are open to you, so you can do as you wish, or you can just hack terminals and just take care of those terminals. And another thing that you can't see right now is find other information around the city, like civilians that are of importance, or guards to bribe, or people to clone, which is still pretty important. So I will say this, the tutorial that the guys have at the moment does a fairly decent job of covering the basis of how to play the game, but this is almost like a double-edged sword where the game's openness is so open where you can do things in so many ways that if you wanted to cover all of that in one tutorial, it will probably be a 5-hour tutorial, and you might have to dedicate a whole city as a tutorial. And I'm somebody who's always makes fun of games that try too much to do a tutorial. And in this case, I do hope the guys do something where they explain the mechanics of the game some more. But with that being said, once you figure out where everything is in this game, and you have hotkeys set up, which you can do, and I highly recommend you go into the keyboard section once you get this game, so you A, become acquainted with everything that you can do in this game, and B, to customize it to your own tastes. But once you have a good idea what's going on, the amount of commands that you can give almost simultaneously is one of the best experiences when it comes to this game, because combining hotkeys and mouse clicks and stopping time and all these elements becomes, like, I'll say it like this, it's almost like being a conductor, but instead of doing music, you are causing some serious infrastructural damage to society. Whether that society deserves it or not is not really a question that I'm going to answer in this game, and I'll leave that up to the storytellers and the players themselves to have an answer for. But I'm doing a lot of this pause action because it helps me talk in the middle of the chaos, but it does become very useful in the middle once things go completely haywire. But as you can see, there's a few separate commands that you can hit with your keyboard hand that gives you the ability to not just control agents individually, so I can switch between my soldier or my support or my hacker or my infiltrator or my mind-jacked person, and move them all one by one and give issues one by one, or in a case like this, I can just select all of them. I can select all that is on the screen. I can select the whole squad, and since I've captured this, I'm going to make a pause to show you how that can go very far in many ways in order to ramp up chaos. So let's take this guy out, and I'll pause and see you at the drop again. Okay, so now that we are out of that dodge, let's jump back into the first part of the game that becomes available for you once you begin Satellite Reign. Uh, this is basically a main downtown hub that can take you to the Great District. It is also a place where you can access a lot of civilians at once. And I'm gonna go pretty quick, as you've seen the mind hacking a couple of times. Let me actually show you what the agent can do. I have my world viewer set up to its highest level, and by the way, the guys have definitely been adding more and more to the cloning and skill system since I first started playing the game. And as you can see, this little username has my guys pretty decked out. It looks like I'm almost there to completing uh, pretty much everyone to their highest skill stats, but not fully there yet. However, I'm getting close. Uh, I'll come here. As you can see, there's augmentations that you can add. There's gears and weapons, and then there's the clones, which you can select. And I just added a few people to my clone list, and every clone, and this is one of the things that's really cool with this game, uh, just like with the buildings in this game where people have made donations, there are people who are walking around this world who are based after uh, the crowdfunding or the main crowdfunders that shot this game to its current situation, uh, which is, I think, one of the most brilliant things a small company can do when they have the talent resources to make it so, which is really tap into fans of the game or people who really love the game and make them feel fully part of the game. And in this case, basically being a random civilian. And with my guys fully decked out, I can just select their stats and it'll show how much health they have, how much speed they have. They all work on uh, basically information that you need. I will definitely say this little part of the downtown and all the information that is there. I don't know if there's a option where I can turn off this because it does eat a lot of screen real estate when it doesn't need to, especially when you have all this stuff unlocked. One thing that they do have, which is still really cool, is the mini map is mouse scalable, and despite a few bugs, it is very accurate with what's happening where enemies are, and yeah, so there's definitely a lot of information to keep track of and micromanage. That this game is still hasn't perfected yet, but I am very much looking forward to seeing the next few iterations of this game before it becomes a fully launched product. Um, because every step they've taken, they've done a great job. Go 5 Lives. So my hacker, who has this ability fully decked out in this skill tree, is, let's just say that I'm preparing for a mini revolution of sorts. Uh, you can mind hack almost everything that has a sort of a mind behind it, and that includes artificial intelligence and robots. There's really a full-blown experience when it comes to being able to jack into a full-blown walking battle mech and have that be part of your arsenal. Now, I'll be testing this out in a little bit, but now I pretty much have 2 full squads to play with, and if you see the mouse, there's my main company squad, which selects everyone, and then my Mindjack squad, which selects the people that I've mind hacked or are scientists and researchers who are following me into facility. Now, what's great about this is you can pretty much use these guys. Let's see, let's actually bring everyone here at first. And since I do have quite a lot of firepower, I want to demonstrate this. Since, as I said, the last few missions I've done was very much focused on the stealth. Looks like my squad is also part ghost. They just went through cars, and that normally doesn't happen or shouldn't happen. Anyway, so yeah, let's just actually just show it. Normally, if you want to hack into a facility, you can hack in the front door. In this case, this is the main front door, so you want to be more careful when you're actually playing, especially starting out, if you want to ever go in through the front door anyway, because it's like trying to enter the military, front door of a military base. Just don't ever do that, unless you have either some serious beef and know the consequences, or are a commander of sorts. Don't ever do that. Anyway, so that was one approach to do it, and then in this approach, you can start with a hard knock, and normally one grenade takes care of it. This is a bigger gate, so yeah. So this one needs two grenades, and even though I don't have it, you can actually have C4 explosive types as well, where you can place a bomb and walk away and then trigger the explosion when you believe is the right time. So I just am staging a mini revolution. Apparently everyone in this little bank area just really didn't want to deal with this situation anymore, because they're no longer seem interested in protecting this facility. But yeah, so ooh, and I have my mech over there. So this should be actually a good test of the gameplay's improvement. So I had a knockback. Oh, nice. The guys have been adding destructible environments. One thing that wasn't there before that has become more and more of a situation, or more and more of something I do see every now and then, which is having enemies die and die as giblets. I wasn't expecting that level of gore, but it is in the game, and I am very excited about that. Okay, so gonna be a little bit sneaky here. It looks like my coup d'etat has been pretty short-lived. My guard has been walked off. Where is my hacker? Okay, my hacker's still there. Where's that robot? There's my robot. So since I have my mini mind hack army pretty much reduced to just 2, I'm going to add some backup. So one thing that is part of the balancing is you can have 6 civilians, but you can't have 6 soldiers from another army to take command of. However, you can do 2 soldiers and 1 battle mech, so that part is pretty cool. And there we go. So I don't know why those guys walked straight into the death robot, but again, this game's build is still not perfect. However, you can do a lot of crazy stuff, but apparently this is actually an anecdote that I should report, since that is part of what I'm dedicated in doing in this game, which is report bugs when you see them. And as you can see, I just started killing people, and it seems that they no longer care that I am being violent. It normally happens if you do a series of mind hacks, or could be that the graphic has gone a little bit haywire. But it's all good. We'll just do this because this little demonstration is over. that I wanted to show, and we're just going to send off our mind-controlled crew in a very messed up way. Oh, one grenade that I should show is the smoke grenade, which works as a mini invisibility. And I should also say that since even a week ago, the graphical improvements have been fantastic, just with the way these explosions don't eat the full frame rates and create that light and reflection. I know. I think it's really creative. Alright, anyway, party's over and it looks like these guys are not dying. I am going to stop recording again, teleport my crew, and hope that we'll take care of the AI issue. So stand by. Okay, as you can see, anytime I've been starting, I am around this little spinny thing, which is called a relay beacon. It's one of the more interesting aspects of the game, which I will still say this, it's one of the most important tools of the game that still just needs a little bit more sculpting in terms of functionality, because it acts both as a fast travel and as a means to get to safety and to load up weapons and equipment and gear in the game. And anytime you have your agents or clones die, the genetic stock of those clones lower in quality, so they won't be able to provide the same amount of hit points or speed or health regeneration, all that stuff. But what's kind of interesting is it opens up a couple of questions, both in terms of this game's storyline and overall functionality. I mean, I do know that the whatever company that is behind your agents are stealing, are using semi-stolen technology in order to have your agents, first of all, be cloned and have their consciousness in the body and have them teleport to places. But uh, when you teleport, you don't seem to have your clone die or degrade when you're teleported. However, when they're dead and they show up, it is degraded, which asks me the question of, well, what's the difference between a non-dead person teleporting and not teleporting, and the other one, which it's funny, anytime I want to point something out, everything disappears for a second, but as you've seen, there's a bunch of cars around everywhere. You can actually get into cars and drive around the city. Uh, it's not perfect. I don't know how it can be improved on fully, to be honest. And the other question is, well, if you have this fast travel ability, why do you want to get in a car and drive around? That is unless the cars can have weapons or your agents can shoot through the cars. Or actually, there is you can use cars as a getaway vehicle, which it can be a lot of fun. You know, part of me doesn't want that taken out, but another part of me is just wondering if it can get any better, and or if it just should be left as is until a lot of other issues are worked with. Anyway, we're here in this market, and I am desperately trying to find soldiers who have all. I swear to God, they're now all running away from me, almost on purpose. I think I might have hurt their feelings. Okay, let's just do this. Let's teleport next to a place that normally has tons of soldiers. The main Dracogenics compound in downtown. So, I will say, one of the coolest things with this game, both in terms of story and idea, is that what would the world be if a bunch of corporations took over and started carving out territory? And what if some of these corporations didn't like each other? And how would they deal with each other? And what type of alliances they would have, or animosities? And these white guards, who are known as Hammerhead guards, are part of a company called Dracogenics. which is, I guess, the company that our the company that we work with has the most beef with, and they are in line with another company uh, called the Eternals, and so those two guys are pretty buddy buddy with each other. But Dracogenics and another company called Uzi or Ronin, they do not like each other. They basically have some serious animosity with one another, and if you are even walking around, sometimes you might see two sets of factions of soldiers firing guns at each other. And let's just say that that's just how capitalistic competition works in whatever future this game takes place in. Anyway, I have now 4 Dracogenic soldiers, and if you actually hack a higher ranking soldier, this is what's really cool. You end up having drones and other people follow you, and it will be really cool if they end up uh, working on this concept some more, so you can actually just radio commands and just have reinforcements show up, uh, by you triggering it. Uh, Again, I don't know how the programming timeline of video game production works, but if it is something that the guys at Five Lives can work on, I think they can really create some fun situations for players to experiment with. Uh, so I passed another compound, which was the CSA, and those guys are pretty much the Eternals, and they're kind of friends with you, so I'm not going to bother with them. I'm trying to find the Ronin facility, which I think they're a subsidiary of Uzi, the Russians, or they're also another Russian group. So I don't know if Dracogenics just doesn't like Russians in the future, or if they're both part of the same group. Anyway, this looks like it's Ronin Inc., and I hope the teleport that I did has fixed some of the AI bugging issue. Oh, well, these guys seem to have the same uniform as well, so I don't know if Ronin has completely taken over or they're somewhere else. Oh, okay, Ronin, there we go. So, last time I showed you a little mini riot. Now I'm just gonna basically show like a mini war. I don't even have my agents with me, and this was kind of cool with this game. Okay, so unfortunately, it looks like the AI bug is still there. Oh, I like how those robots can do that self-destruct. And giblets, just as I said, giblets, giblets, giblets. Um, okay, so I'll just have to make another short video, or actually you can just go and check out a few of the previous build videos that I have of Sattelite Reign, where you can see this just full-blown chaos just explode all over the place. And oh wait, are they all just running away? Okay, so this is an interesting bug. Oh, okay. I guess I was their commander and he's gone now. But anyway, basically you have these guys firing at these guys, and reinforcements do show up on both teams. And you basically can infiltrate a base while having caused a mini civil war, or an urban skirmish, actually. Uh, which is really cool. It is more challenging than your run-of-the-mill stealth. However, especially with the way the game's engine has been improving, uh, just the amount of carnage and action that's there, it's worth it. Anyway, guys, I wish the AI didn't clunk out at the last moment here, but this is part of the game because, or as it's being developed. However, if you do have $23.99 while it's on sale, or it's about $35, and want to try a game that hasn't been finished yet, and just play it before it ends up and have a chance of adding improvements by speaking with the development team. Uh, Definitely give Satellite Reign a chance. If not, I believe the game will be. It doesn't have a definite release uh, date yet, but I know that it has been confirmed by Five Lives that they will be releasing this game by this year. And I hope they get to make the sale that they deserve and get full blown support so they can add more features like multiplayer, which was part of their promise for their Kickstarter that they could not reach as a stretch goal. One stretch goal that they were able to achieve was destructible environments, which you've seen in this video a few times. So it is actually really nice to see a video game company or a group of guys who make video games and have basically put their money where their mouth is on Kickstarter actually look like they're about to deliver on what they've promised on. Uh, there has been quite a few notable misfortunes in that regard, and it really does suck because I don't really want to mention the studios or the names of the people who promised the sun and the moon and were not able to deliver and navigate through the public relations issues that is there. And I don't want to mention them because I do like those designers and the games they've made in the past. So I feel bad just ragging on them. And it is nice that uh, these guys so far at Five Lives have been able to maintain and keep working on something that could be really special in the end. And I'm looking forward to when this game gets to hit its full launch, and hopefully there's more improvements. And the guys at Five Lives stay in touch. And please do leave comments, questions, anything you can in the comment board. Uh, and do stand by because I really hope I can make better videos as time goes along. Anyway, this is the Point Star presentation. Thank you for sticking by. Once again, this is C After Zai, also known as Black Horse 23, and see you guys around. Bye.